Shadows crawling in the bright daylight, voices twisted, feeding us the blight, telling stories that were never true. We fight to break on through. Lies are woven like a velvet chain, slick with power driving us insane. But the fire burns deep within our chests. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. They call us rebels, say we've lost our way, but freedom's blood, it fuels the fray. From the ashes comes a brighter light. We fight with all our might. See resolve in the roaring storm, breaking cages will rewrite the norm. No more silence, no more disguise. We fight with open eyes. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. We fight, we make our mark.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. I just, the CBO's running around and saying this thing's going to add trillions of dollars to the debt and bigger deficits. You got Elon Musk now has weighed in, and he's hammering the administration and actually calling for a third party. I spent the afternoon talking to certain officials in the administration about the models you guys are looking at and how you're doing dynamic scoring and taking into account the supply side tax cuts nature of this, a lot of the business, elements you're bringing in on capital equipment. Can you just walk the folks through? Because the CBO's, I think, saying you're going to have 1.8% GDP growth. IMF is at 1.7%. Can you just take a second and walk us through, as you guys look at it, how this thing rolls out and what you think the right model people ought to be focused on, sir?
Sure. So first of all, look, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Look, CBO does a really bad job of incorporating economic growth as a result of tax provisions that are strong incentives to increase production, right? And so there's a number of incentives in the bill that are really important. There's the full expensing on equipment and manufacturing and R&D and new factories that are huge incentives to invest. That means that companies get huge tax write-offs if they build a factory. Companies get huge tax write-offs if they add more equipment to an existing factory, right? It's really strong investment incentives. And of course, investment means more jobs, it means more economic activity, it means more productive capacity, it means more manufacturing and national security as well. And that's super important, right? There's also very strong incentives for more labor supply, things like no taxes on tips or overtime, tax benefits for seniors, right? These are very, very what economists would call elastic, but you should just think of as responsive segments of the labor supply. These are folks that already respond very well to increased economic incentives to work, and providing tax benefits just increase their willingness to work. And so that increases labor supply, which again boosts the economy. Better economic growth means more revenue because it means more income that gets taxed. Now, in President Trump's first term, GDP growth was 2.8% until the pandemic. And of course, it's difficult to blame tax policy for the pandemic, but 2.8% GDP growth. What we've got from the similar set of policies also works out to about 2.8% GDP growth over the course of a decade. That alone brings in $4 trillion of additional revenue from better economic growth due to this full suite of economic policies, including the tax incentives in the One Big Beautiful Bill, but also huge amounts of deregulation, cutting red tapes that companies can invest and hire when they want, instead of begging Washington for permission, spending years begging Washington. And also the president's energy abundance policies that lower gas prices, put more money in consumers' pockets every month, and also create better ability to reshore manufacturing, better ability to build factories and manufacturing in the United States, because energy goes into everything.
Let's go back. I want to go back to the reshoring for a second.
Pretty crazy stuff. This whole big beautiful bill thing is all a lie. Everything they're telling you, we're going to talk about tonight, as well as Elon Musk freaking out, completely threatening Trump and the MAGA movement. It's getting wild out there, folks. It's getting really wild out there, and makes you think, doesn't it? Is Elon really one of the good ones? I don't know. We're going to talk about that tonight, and then everything else going on today with this big, beautiful bill, which will be one of the most significant legislations of our lifetime, whether you like it or not. But I think after tonight, you're going to like it a lot more. Welcome to the Ace Report. Thank you guys for being patient with me, waiting up late. And for everybody else who's watching later in the morning, God bless you. Thanks for watching anyways, even if you can't catch it live. But for those who are live, no Rumble stream, no X stream. I'm sorry. Rumble Studio sucks. And until it gets better, I'm going to stay on here where you can actually see my face without it looking like, I'm washed out and blurry. But let's say hey to some people and then get right into it. Wago Waco, what's up, brother? US1, how you doing, Butters? That's me. JC Cool, Alan Agajanyan, Yoker, Vince Feliz, what's up, man? Dave R, Troy, man, Armand, MM, Toe Cramp, Automag, Stony Bones, Scott Volkovich, Pedro Rod, Eric B, Rom Dog, Hero at Large, what's going on? Agent Orange, Cindy Lou, Josh Carpaja, Brian T, Patrice, Gary Medill, Technology, what's up? Toe Cramp, you like my intro song? I appreciate it. Hobbs, what's going on? Uncle Andy, Chad Yunkin, Big B, Vince with some terrible Chinese jokes. Vince, you're up late, man. Don't you gotta get up early? Here at Large, almost a year as a member. Awesome. Rum Dog, what's up? Kiss Off, Peter Joy, Shogun. Apollyon says BBB must be good. They're doing absurdities to try to stop it. Stupid rhinos throwing tantrums. That is a big part of it for sure. Mevaha, Elon Musk is a weird guy. He's always made me think he's not the real deal. Anyone who entertains the idea of putting a computer chip in your brain is plain stupid. Plain stupid or crazy like a fox. But yeah, I wouldn't call him stupid, but he's definitely got his own ideas. Is that bill going to pass by July 4th? It's going to be tough, but I think they might pull it off. I've seen this House and Trump pull off wild things like that before. What's up, Brett Montgomery? And what is up, Bird? Good to see you guys. John Crisson. Good evening from sunny Southern California. Love it. Good to see you all. Thank you guys for watching. Listen, please hit that like. Take 1 second. Hit that like before we get started. Hit that subscribe if you're new. I greatly appreciate it. And check it out. If you want to be a member, help support the show, but also, I'm not asking you to donate for free. You will get members' lives exclusive on Wednesday nights and other times. Sometimes they just pop up, and also access to the 24/7 Discord group where we have a wonderful community going on in there. And if you want that and you haven't had it before, go into the description down below and click that Patreon link for a free first month. There you go. I appreciate it. Rumdog says we have the votes and the tiebreaker. Well, it's got to go back to the House because they've changed a lot, and the House isn't going to like a lot of the Senate's changes, but we'll talk about that. Let's get to it. But first, we got to talk about the drama of the hour. Elon puts Trump and the Republicans on blast tonight and says, if this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican uniparty so the people actually have a voice. Listen, this man is really, really, really upset about this whole bill. And it makes you wonder why. Why? Because this man has voted for Democrats in the past. He voted for Biden. He didn't give two craps about the debt ceiling before. He didn't care about us spending ourselves into oblivion when it was Democrats. So now that Trump's there, why does he care so much? He says that's what he cares about. I don't believe him. Let's talk for a second about Elon's disappointment. Elon started Doge, which I love Doge. I think Doge has done wonderful things. Getting rid of US aid alone was worth the entire Doge experiment. But he promised $1 trillion in cuts, and they didn't get close. Not yet, anyways. You know, it's still possible. But so far, disappointing according to his promise. Elon couldn't get it done. I get it. Frustrations. Do I think Elon actually wanted to do it? I actually think part of him did. But I don't think that's why he's mad about the bill. Elon is too smart to fall for the CBO scoring. The reason I played that clip in the beginning is because I wanted you guys to hear the actual breakdown of what's estimated this bill will do. It's not just the debt. The CBO burned like this debt score out there. But the truth is the growth from this bill, as well as the tariff revenue, will more than offset it. And we might even end up with a surplus from where we're at now based on this bill. That's all completely possible, but the CBO won't score that in. Elon is smart enough to understand that. The man is, by all intents and purposes, when it comes to mathematics and engineering, a genius. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm not going to go out there and say Elon's stupid. I think it's more nefarious. I really do. I think Elon has built most of his businesses with government grants and contracts. The grants being in the form of credits, green credits. And this bill is about to wipe all of those credits away. Solar, all of it. EVs, all of it, gone. It's going to be phased out over the next 2 years if this bill passes, which I'm all for because I don't believe in the government subsidizing any industry. If the government has to subsidize an industry, it's because we're not ready for you or you can't survive on your own. Government only subsidizes industries to push them to be successful where they otherwise would not be. That's a problem. And Elon is a brilliant businessman. And look at, if the government's going to hand you a contract, you should take it. You'd be dumb not to. It's a great contract. You're going to get that money, and they overpay all the time. Any smart businessman would take a government contract. That's not the point. The point, though, is that Elon's scared. I truly believe he's scared. This Tesla already take a big hit this year because he lost his favorite fan base, which is the liberals. Lost them all because he sided with Trump. All he has left is the MAGA base, the conservatives, who he endeared himself to. But they're not the biggest green energy people. They don't care that much about that. And if the credits go away and all of a sudden all those cars are much more expensive, I think Elon's worried about his company. And he should be. Now, he's said a lot of things in the past, but when push comes to shove, you go into fight or flight mode, you go into survival mode. And I think that's what he's doing here. This is, first of all, it's proof that what we saw before wasn't just kayfabe. It was exactly what it looked like, Elon throwing a tantrum. And, you know, I thought it could be kayfabe. I talked about it. At the time, it made sense. We've seen a lot of other weird things, and Elon just went so crazy. But we also knew there was always a chance that he was throwing a fit. And now it looks like that truly is what he's doing. But here's the deal. Elon went back. He apologized. MAGA's had time to settle down now. MAGA's had time to think, whose side are we really on? Elon was very popular for a while, though. But Trump just came off arguably the greatest week of his entire 2 terms. He bombed Iran when everybody was freaking out, even most of MAGA. We trust you, but please don't get us into a war. We're nervous. He handled it masterfully. Bombed, get in, get out, peace the next day. Boom. Incredible. Follows that up with massive Supreme Court wins that allow him to much more authoritatively take forward his agenda going forward the next few years. Boom. Done. Gets peace with Congo and Rwanda, ends a 30-year war. The man is rolling right now. Ends Saturday with the Senate passing the first vote for the big, beautiful bill. What an amazing week. Trump's got the momentum. MAGA is thriving again. MAGA is stoked about Trump. Elon now comes on the scene and thinks he's going to peel us away. It's not going to happen. Elon has no idea what he's doing. Everybody else runs up against Trump and they break. They're like the waves of the shore coming into the cliffside. Just smash. You can't do it. Trump is unbeatable. Everybody who goes up against him learns, and this is not going to be different. Elon's ego has taken him too far now. And if I were giving advice, I would say, Elon, dude, don't do this, because you will ruin your companies and your reputation. Because before you were the hero of the liberals, and then you became a hero to MAGA, and you're about to turn on us. MAGA is Trump. Trump is MAGA. There is no separation of the two. He will lose the most powerful movement in America, and it will hurt him. Now, the man's the richest man in the world. He's multi-billionaire, over $400 billion. He'll be fine financially, but his businesses will never recover after this. It'll never recover. So, Elon, what the deal, yo? Plenty of pushback as well. James Fishback writes, you can't seriously call it the America Party and then hand American jobs to H-1Bs from Punjab. No thanks, Elon, we're sticking with Trump. The backlash is going to be massive on this. And this is what I'm interested in seeing. What is the fallout going to be? I have a feeling I know what it'll be with Elon, but what's the fallout going to be with X? If Elon is this prone to emotion and X was the free speech area, all of a sudden does MAGA start taking hits on X? We already got a bunch of liberals running it, so except for when Elon comes and plays referee, we all get shadow banned or our posts don't travel as well already. What happens if he's anti-MAGA now? There's going to be major repercussions of this. Elon is not as laissez-faire as he comes across. He really isn't. Here's a post shared by the Core Ring says, Elon will instruct the influencers to start pushing propaganda against Trump's big, beautiful bill. Pay them no mind. They're being paid to push Elon's propaganda. FYI, most of them don't even live in America. That's very true. Ian Miles Chong, anybody? And just right on cue, Alex Jones. It's totally insane. Why is Alex against this bill? This is very interesting to me. You know, Steve Bannon had Alex on right before the attacks in Iran and Israel. And they both were very much on the same track. And I was like, this is encouraging. Alex is on Elon's team, or with Steve. Because I trust Bannon. Bannon's the man. He's the reason we have Trump. There is no Trump without Steve Bannon, at least in the first term. And so we owe him a great deal of gratitude. MAGA is many ways. Trump is the leader. He is the instigator. He is the torchbearer of MAGA. Again, anybody can leave except Trump and we're good. But Bannon was the mastermind. I trust Bannon. I no longer trust Alex Jones. Alex Jones, on an aside of this, is having Nick Fuentes back on for another event. That's 3 times. Why? And now he's shilling against this bill. Meanwhile, Steve Bannon, who is very open about, I don't like a lot in this bill, but here's what I do like. Very open about telling us the truth about the good stuff. Very open about saying it's still worth it. putting people on there to explain to us how the big beautiful bill is actually a massive win for us, despite the fact we have to eat a little crap with it to get it through. You know, it's like you got this beautiful dinner. You're just waiting for it to be served, and it's everything you want. A big red juicy steak for all your protein, and you got the, everything's organic and wonderful, and you're like, this is going to charge me up for the whole next day. I'm going to have the best workouts ever. I'm going to have the best day ever. Blah, 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 blah. But then they just throw a bunch of crap on the side, and they're like, listen, this stuff over here, you don't want it. It's not even good for you. But we have a policy here that if you want to eat this, you got to eat that. And you're like, ugh, it's going to give me a little diarrhea. I can survive that, though. Sometimes I have a little trouble getting that thing down, but I can do it. Man, I want that steak. It's worth it. So you do it. And that's what the big, beautiful bill is. Funding our border, which we talked about the other night. The most important thing for our future is solving the immigration problem. Number one. Number two, keeps the tax cuts forever. What Congress is going to have the balls in the modern era with the internet to go in there and say, we're getting rid of Trump's tax cuts. We're going to pass a law for new taxes. Nobody has that guts. So those tax cuts are staying for a very long time. Locked in, no more ticking clock till they're gone. Enables Trump's entire agenda. Rolls back the Green New Scam. All gone. Deregulates for businesses. Gives people for manufacturing. Factories can be built tax-free. Get our manufacturing back. Rev it up, baby. This bill is very good for about 75 to 80% of it. It is awesome. But we're going to have to eat that other 20 to 25% of crap because we have a Congress that is fully corrupt and beholden in deep state. And they're like, well, if we're going to do this for you, you got to do something for us. And Trump says, I don't give a flip. If you do these things, we're going to win so big over the next decade that all those little crappy things you're throwing in there aren't going to matter. That's how Trump's thinking, because Trump is thinking for the future. What did Trump say in about week 3 of his second term? He said, we got to start thinking like the Chinese. They think 100, 200, 300 years in the future. They're planning. We just want everything right away. Trump is smart. He's planning ahead. And everybody freaking out over the debt. Thomas Massie sure didn't care when he voted for Biden's bill, Biden's budget reconciliation. Thomas Massie, his vote is on that line. He signed off on it. He didn't care when it was Biden. All of a sudden, he cares about this for Trump? Come on. Are you kidding me? Insane. So it's going to get done. It's going to get passed. Watch who's speaking against it, because there's no nuance here from Elon. There's no nuance from Alex Jones. Steve Bannon, nuanced. Here's the good, here's the bad. Trump, nuanced. He's the leader. We trust him. Ain't nobody else going to give us a better country than Trump. I'm sorry. Man was shot for me. I'm going down with the ship. Somebody on X, some moron who's like, I'm a subscriber of yours. But because I call out Elon, he's like, you're a total sheep, bro. It's like, block. I don't care if you're my subscriber. We're not going to have discussions here if you're not respectful. Goodbye. I don't need you in my life. I don't need that in my life. This is about having real discussions, telling the truth. I've done years of research on this stuff. I know more about politics than 99.5% of the population. That's what I'm here for, to break it down. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but it means I'm almost always right. And I'm telling you guys, we want this bill to pass. It's going to be very good for us overall. And the small stuff in there, it's not going to bother us. It's not going to affect us that much. The Medicaid cuts, let's talk about that for a second, because everybody's freaking out over those. There's no cuts. Medicaid will still go up or in the budget the next few years. The cut is that the increases in future years are going to go down, but they're only going down because you're going to have to work now to get Medicaid. And you know what? Unless you're severely injured, if you're not working and you're collecting Medicaid, I hope your butt gets thrown off right now. I don't care if you have health care. That's not my problem. Go to work. That's number one. That's going to save hundreds of billions. And the other thing they're trying to do is kick all the illegals off. Now, right now, the parliamentarian appointed by Harry Reid, the one that allowed them to pass Obamacare with reconciliation, completely change our healthcare industry with reconciliation bill, which is supposed to be a budget bill. She won't let us throw the illegals off Medicaid. So that's going back to the House because they're going to figure something out on that. That is unacceptable. But I will tell you, even 3 Democrats voted for that to go through. 56 votes, we needed 60 because of the parliamentarian. Trump, with an executive order, can freeze that. I'm not worried about it. It sucks, but I'm not worried about it. The illegals will not get Medicaid under Trump. I guarantee that. Just watch. Just watch. The other thing that needs to be said is this is a reconciliation bill that's an addendum to the current Biden budget that was passed last year. Trump has not had his first budget yet, and this is not it. The oncoming budget fight, which will be in the fall, will be a lot different. And that's where we'll also see even more stuff happen. So guys, don't worry yet. I'm going to let Stephen Miller, though, talk for a second here. This man's going to break down why this bill is actually a very good thing overall. And I think it's important to hear him out.
I've spent my entire life in the conservative movement. Since I was a kid in high school, working, dreaming of the day where we could have a piece of legislation like what exists right now, Sean, what President Trump has brought to the precipice of passage. Each and every one of the individual titles in this bill would be considered one of the great achievements in the history of the conservative movement. The title, for example, building the missile defense shield for the United States of America, Sean, so we can be safe, our children can be safe from foreign adversaries in this growing era of intercontinental ballistic missiles as nations race for supremacy. The section on this bill enshrining border and homeland security, this is the most far-reaching border security proposal, homeland security proposal in my lifetime. Sean, not just my lifetime, going back to Eisenhower, going back to since we've had conversations about the border, Sean. I take this seriously. I've stood by the families whose kids have been murdered by illegal aliens. We made them a promise. Most importantly, the American people voted to fulfill that promise in the last election. This bill fulfills it. It is the largest tax cut and reform in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Every single business owner with a dream of manufacturing in America can deduct 100% of that cost to make the American dream come true here in the United States. Here's another one for you, Sean. The largest welfare reform in American history. Work requirements on food stamps, work requirements on Medicaid, the 2 largest welfare programs that exist, and now we are attaching work requirements to those programs. Orders of magnitude larger than the welfare reform the Republicans enacted into law in the 1990s. I am sick and tired of the lies about this bill that have been perpetrated by opportunists who are trying to make a name for themselves. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. So, Sean, let's work together. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
I've spent my entire
Anybody else
life
fired up after that? Dang. Did you guys watch that scroll? I mean, this is a big, beautiful bill. It's amazing what's in this bill. I'm sorry. I agree with 80 to 90% of what's in this bill. And if you can't get caught, if you can't get over the debt, well, you know what? Take it up with Congress, because Trump can't get the cuts passed. He couldn't even get the 9 billion Doge cuts passed because the Senate wouldn't pass them. That's a Congress problem, not a Trump problem. You have to understand how government works. Anyone who doesn't like this bill, who considers themselves MAGA or conservative, either has no idea what they're talking about and they're just listening to talking points online, or they're not very smart about how this all works. I'm just telling you, that's the truth. I'm sorry, but you don't understand. This will solidify Trump's agenda for 4 years. It gives him almost everything he wants. Almost everything he wants. Bill Johnston, you're completely wrong. You're completely wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. Trump could end that with an executive order, and also it's got to go back to the House, and they're not going to let that stay on in its current form. You don't know what you're talking about. God bless you. You don't know what you're talking about. You just keep repeating it. I see you saying 1.5 million illegals, 1.5 million illegals, 1.5 million illegals. Dude, just because you repeat it doesn't make it true. The parliamentarian shut it down. It's not this. In this case, it's not even Congress's fault. Actually, you could say it's John Thune's fault for letting the parliamentarian have that power still. He could fire her, but he's a big wussy. He's a wussy man. Regardless, if that's your one hang up over everything else that this bill gets you, when they won't even allow Congress to pass that, that tells you you don't know how this works. And I'm sorry, Bill, I like you, but you don't know how this works if that's what you think is your big hang up. This bill is truly big. It's truly beautiful. And it's all about who's actually backing it. Number one, Trump. I trust Trump more than anybody else. I do. And if Trump says we get this done, we get it done. Hero's asking, where's my no tax on Social Security? They can't pass it in this by Senate rules. Okay. So again, it's about knowing how this works. They cannot pass it. It's not Social Security. Changes to Social Security have to be done by 60 votes. It's a filibuster. It is a stupid rule. They have a bunch of stupid rules. And I've done a whole video on why they should get rid of the filibuster. Filibuster is it's not constitutional, but they put it in there as a rule and they will not get rid of it. And it's some game that both sides play. Okay, this way we can block everything you do and you can block everything we do. Okay. That's what the filibuster is all about. It's so stupid, but they keep it because of that. And as far as that, Hero, they're going to work. They're putting in a work through on the Social Security benefits that makes it so you'll still get more money even if the taxes aren't there. They're working on it right now because they're dedicated to it. They're dedicated to it. So listen, guys, this is amazing and we need it passed because this is how Trump gets after this. Here's what else you should be excited about, okay? Because this is my audience and we're very big on Wall Street and the SEC. If you missed my video that I posted yesterday, after this passes, Trump is free to do so much more, especially now that the Supreme Court gave him the green light. He is free to go after stuff because now it's codified. His agenda, legislated, it's law. No judge can get rid of it. It's law. All right. So now he can start going after all the other stuff. I think the next big thing on his board is Russia, Ukraine. But I think after that, he's going to be very domestic. But we're already seeing it. Did you guys see the massive bust today on the healthcare scams? He is going after so much stuff. The Justice Department, who everybody's like, they haven't released the Epstein files, so they don't do anything. Listen, they have already captured over 800 child trafficking pedophiles. They are going after it. They just made a huge bust on medical insurance scams, caught like 400 doctors and nurses. They are going after people that we've never seen anybody go after before. The Justice Department, the FBI are busy. Wall Street is coming. Wall Street's coming. And until this is codified, Trump can't go after Wall Street. Think about it. Where do you think all the senators make all their money? They're all insider trading. They're all in on it. If Trump collapsed the economy by just going after that, which it will, at least initially, have a major effect on the economy and the stock market when he goes after it. If he does that and he wipes away Congress's ability to make all that money, do you really think they're going to vote for him? They're going to give him his bill? No freaking way. So when you think about it, it makes sense. But I get it. I get it. Everybody just wants what they want. Everybody can only see what affects their life. They don't, just like Trump said, we're a microwave generation. We want it and we want it now. And we don't think what's better for 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years down the road. Think ahead, and that's how we really win. I'm way more concerned about what's happening, with, like this all getting fixed for my kids than I am for me. One way or the other, I'll be okay. I want them to be more than okay. I want them to thrive. I want my grandkids to have the best America we've ever seen. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And if I'm a little spicy tonight, it's because I'm pissed at Elon. JD Vance, again, look at who's behind this. Who do you trust more? Trump, for me, in all of this, I trust more than anybody. You know what else I trust? I trust JD Vance. I trust Steve Bannon. All the people I trust are on the right side of this. I don't trust Elon. Never have. It's hard to trust somebody who voted for Biden not that far. I love some of the stuff he did. I love that he unlocked X. I love that he helped Trump get elected. I love that he started Doge. He did some great stuff. Doesn't mean I trusted him. Doesn't mean I trusted him. Ever. He didn't earn trust. You got to be in the fight before that. He was for DeSantis before Trump got shot. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. He thought Trump was Dunsky. Who do you trust? And that's what it comes down to. You have to know who to trust more. Do you trust Congress more? Hell no. I trust Trump. If Trump says this needs to get done, it needs to get done. I don't trust Alex Jones. Not when he's hosting Nick Fuentes, who's one of the biggest frauds on the internet. We've talked about that. You guys know. Why keep platforming people like that? It's insane. It doesn't make sense. JD Vance says the thing that will bankrupt this country more than any other policy is flooding the country with illegal immigration, giving those migrants generous benefits. OBBB fixes this problem, therefore must pass. Here's the other thing we're not talking about, guys. If we want to win elections and stay in power, guess what? It's going to take more than 2 years. It's going to take more than 4 years to do everything we need to make this country better. We have to also keep winning elections. It's about winning as we go. You don't get everything at once. It takes time. Our system's not designed for that. Now, if you guys want a king or a communist party, change will happen real fast. But in a free country that's built on laws, we're a republic with a democratic aspect, it's going to take time. It's meant to move slow. The founding fathers did that. And as frustrating as it is when you're trying to get things back on the right track, thank God for it, because it saved us from going down the wrong track, because even they had to move slow, much slower than they wanted to. We have to think long term. We need this man to be our next president. Whatever happens in the one big beautiful bill, it's best for right now. The bad stuff can be whittled away at next year, the following year, in 2030 when JD Vance is president and we have a more conservative Congress. You have to think long term. And that's why this bill needs to be passed. Bannon, let's give this man even more credit, because this man has been on the Elon scent for a while now. Let's hear what he has to say.
We're going to get him over and do something a little different, I think, that other shows have done, which I've been spending the afternoon talking to certain officials, that the CBO, and I think this is very important for the audience to understand, because Elon Musk is out and he's, not that I told you this was going to happen.
Not
but
that I
he's
told
out
you.
lighting up the president and lighting up MAGA and claiming that it's time for a third party. And that this is, he calls it, I think, in all his maturity, the Porky Pig bill. He's going on about the spending, hammering it. And this is what galls me about this. This was the guy that told the president he was going to get $2 trillion
Bingo.
of waste, fraud, and abuse cuts.
Bingo. Bannon called it from the beginning. He called it from the beginning. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what to think. I thought maybe Bannon, like Elon was doing so much and so good that when Bannon was first coming out against Elon, I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe Bannon missed it on this one, but nope, Bannon knows. Bannon knows. And this, to his credit, he was consistent. He played ball with Trump. Bannon's toned down the rhetoric on Elon while Trump and Elon were getting along. Elon was doing good stuff. But now he gets to say, I told you so. And he's right. Now, at the same time, having Elon along for that time was a good thing. Good things came from it. So, it was win-win. And now Elon goes, and I'm not worried about this American party at all. They're not going to get anything done. Maybe the libertarians go vote over there, which is hilarious. It's hilarious because Elon is way more left than even Trump. He's way more big government than even Trump. He believes in universal basic income. Okay. The dude is borderline socialist. I do believe he loves America. And I do believe he doesn't want to see the mind virus culturally that the left is pushing. And that's why he went to MAGA. But he's not a conservative. He doesn't believe in a smaller government. He believes in a bigger government. He just believes it needs to be run better. Fair. You can have that belief, but that's not MAGA. But the libertarians will follow. At least a lot of them, because they're just mad at Trump right now because Trump's not perfect. But then they'll turn on Elon too. Elon's not going to build much of a party. He's going to spend a lot of money, and he'll get tired of it because he's not going to have anybody win anything. And after the midterms, he'll be done. So, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he hurts some of the liberals a little bit, because there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party right now who hate their own party. They just hate Trump more. And if you give them an option, they might jump ship. So let me catch up with some chat real quick before we move on. I got a couple other things I want to share that are pretty interesting, got to say, including something very interesting coming in the economy, which shows the cracks are getting bigger. So we're going to cover that in a second. First of all, please if you like this coverage, if you enjoy the show, take a second, please and subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it a lot. And if you want extra content, go in the description. You can get a membership right now for a free month at Patreon and test it out, see if you like it. Get the members lives, get in the Discord, all that stuff. So let me catch up with some of you guys right here. Trump called out Jay Powell at the White House presser today. I know, there's been so much news. It was so funny. He wrote him a handwritten note with all the rates from around the world showing how they've all cut and how Powell hasn't. So funny. So funny. Mad Max says, a filibuster gives senators an excuse to doing nothing. That's entirely true. That's why they won't get rid of it, even though they really could. Stephen Cromer says, saw my video about Trump fixing SEC after BBB. Genius. Wise by my. Thank you, Stephen Cromer. That was very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Spaghetti Ninja asks, anyone watch the latest Candace episode? Trump called her to stop talking about Macron's husband. Yes, that was very interesting. Trump called Candace Owens and asked her, stop talking about Bridget Macron as a man. He didn't say it because it's not true. He said, because I'm trying to get this Ukraine deal done and you're messing it up. I thought that was hilarious. And I also thought it kind of shows Candace Owens a little off. I shared a post earlier about somebody who knows Candace saying maybe she's got some mental stuff going on right now, which I can't verify, but that rumor is starting to spread. Very interesting. Tokram says, I've never even heard of a parliamentarian until this week. Is this a newish thing? Wonder why I've never heard of it before. It is not new. It has been around a long time. The parliamentarian has one job, basically, and it's to enforce the rules of the Senate. They're self-enforced rules, not the Constitution. They're self-enforced rules, like this budget reconciliation bill. So what she does, or he, if there's a he, they come in, they read the bills, And when the Senate's trying to do something like this, which is through a process called reconciliation, it's only for budget purposes and you can only do it once a year. These Senate rules are so stupid. Even as I'm saying them, I'm just like, this is so dumb. But that's how it works. Her job is to come in, read the bill and say, oh, that you can't put that in there. That's not part of the rules. Oh, you can't put that in there. That's not part of the rules. Here's the kicker. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't do that. Just like there's nothing in the Constitution that says you need a filibuster. They create their own rules and then they stick with them so they don't have to do anything. It's insane. Just like Mad Max says. Tokram says, how dare I use common sense and logic? Well, that's what I'm here for, man. With a hint of emotional flair. I like to throw that in as too. Alan Krentz says, Vance can overrule the Senate parliamentarian this person was selected during Harry Reid. Why are we even listening? That's a great question. John Thune has the option to fire her. As far as JD Vance overruling her, I have heard that. I haven't seen the actual basis for that. So I'm not going to comment either way if that's 100% true or not. But I definitely have heard that it's possible. Michael Anthony says, having a back surgery on Wednesday after having so many tests done, maybe be out of pain. Oh, man, God bless you. Pray your surgery goes well. I'm sorry you have to do that. John Cox says, the way stock market's acting, it'll just keep going up no matter what. Oh, maybe. Brett Montgomery trusts the carburetor eaters. Of course you do. That just makes sense. MK Alkenthaler says, putting chips in people's brains makes me super concerned you have evil in you. It is... You could call it evil or you could say misguided. Some people actually believe that that kind of stuff can work. And Elon is weird because he's autistic. So, who knows? I agree. Immigration is the key to everything. Elon going to go full Ross Perot. Yeah, without the smarts politically, though. Rumdog asks, have I seen the Belgium 2050 TikTok video? No, I'll have to look for that. Alan says, I'm starting to think Marco Rubio is making headwinds ahead of VP Vance. Very impressive foreign policy. Alan, I would say Rubio is a solid 2. But if you look at the polls and if you look at the fact that Vance is VP, Vance just is way ahead of him. Way ahead of him. I get what you're saying. Rubio would make a good president, I do believe. But Vance is... He's just, MAGA loves him so much. There's no way Rubio could jump him unless Vance makes a significant mistake. I'm telling you, this is the most close to in stone guaranteed like next presidential candidate we've ever seen in the Republican Party. I'm just, it's how it is. It's just what it is. I don't make the rules. I'm telling you, there's just never been anybody set up as JD Vance is. So, Cass Singh says, Carney kissed the ring. No more digital tax. He did. So, Mark Carney in Canada, they were going to digital tax the U.S. Trump said, okay, here's a big bunch of tariffs and we're not going to work with you guys anymore. And he dipped it in a day. Alan Kretz is 35 parliamentary under FDR. Okay, I got to look at that. I think it'll be Vance Rubio as a ticket. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think Rubio will be VP, and he'll be set up for the future. I love Rubio. I've always been a fan. I've always been a believer. I was going to vote for him over Trump until I had my theological experience. But I got to tell you that Vance is a better candidate. He's just way smoother. And, I think by him and Rubio as a ticket would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible. All right, let's keep moving here. Really interesting story going on right here, which I think is just very good. Tim Pool writes, what do you call when it's more than based? And it says, Trump's Justice Department issues directive to strip naturalized Americans of citizenship for criminal offenses. Memo says those subjected to civil proceedings are not entitled to an attorney like they are in criminal cases. How wild is this? But in a good way. This means that if you're a naturalized citizen, which means you weren't born here, obviously there's nothing you can do if you were born here. You're a citizen no matter what. And I would fight to the bone on that one. I don't care. As much as I love Trump, that would be a red flag for me. That would be a line I can't cross. But if you weren't born here and you came here and you did it the right way and paid your dues, cool. We love having you as a citizen. You want to be an American, awesome. But then you go and you start committing crimes. Get the bleep out. We don't want you. Take it away. I'd say do it in a second. Just rip that naturalization away, because you're not born here. You came here as a privilege. You fought for that privilege. You did the right thing. And now you're just using that privilege to take advantage of those of us. Sorry, I'm not a fan of that. So I'm huge on this. Rip that naturalization away, and that would just be awesome. John says when it's worse than base, it's D-base. That's very true. Only 61 likes out of 160. Come on, guys, hit that like. The algorithm hates me, so the one chance I have is if you guys just go nuts on that like button. That's the way to do it. I probably pissed some people off earlier when I was talking about the big, beautiful bill. Sorry, I was a little passionate. You guys are great people. You're smart. I love that you're here. I appreciate you spending your time with me. If I made you mad, I'm sorry. Bill Johnson, sorry if I hurt your feelings. You're a smart dude. I just have severe disagreements with you. It's part of the show. Hit that like button. All right. This is funny. I had to share this because this is not even a big story, but it's very entertaining. Remember when Jaguar did that weirdo commercial last year with all the queers and dressed up weird and stuff, and like rebranded? Well, now their sales have plunged 98%. Go, whoa, go broke, baby. I love it. It just makes me so happy. It's just another sign of how much we're winning. Toe says, is it too early to tell if my uploaded videos are getting better traction on my lives? I'll tell you what, that's a great question. My lives generally most of the time get more views overall because people like to watch the live show, and it gives me a nice big jump at the beginning. But the uploaded videos get more subscribers. So YouTube shares the uploaded videos more, and they tend to reach people. Probably because I go off script and say things that YouTube hates when it's live. But that's the fun of the lives, right? The lives are better. I enjoy doing the lives more. But the upload videos, I'm going to keep doing them a little more because it does help grow the channel. So thanks for asking, Toe. Thanks for asking. All right. This is really interesting right here. Okay, this is about the stock market and the markets right now. And this is something we need to watch closely. Kristen Shaughnessy shares, smoke and mirrors, stocks at record highs, but banks secretly struggling. Why are the Fed, BOJ, and BOE stepping in with lots of emergency cash to keep things stable? Very interesting. Look at this. Can someone help me find another period in the past when stock indexes were all-time high, but the BOJ, BOE, which is Bank of Japan, Bank of England, and now the Fed had to provide emergency liquidity to banks through repo to keep their financials in order and avoid a big jump in money market borrowing yields? So in other words, why is the stock market at all-time highs and yet liquidity is drying up very fast? It's an excellent question. And it's just another proof that we are definitely seeing a fake economy, a fake stock market, because it's all starting to collapse. Look at this. This is from Finance Lot. Something just broke. Repurchase agreements, repo, it's the reverse repo markets, jumped to 11 billion last night. This is the Federal Reserve intervening in the overnight lending markets because there's a liquidity shortage in the banking system. And you see, guys, remember look, this is 2020. 2019, 2020, when setting up for that financial crash, just shot out like a rocket. Okay, this goes back to 07. Even 08, nothing like 2019 and 2020. Little jump here, COVID jump. And then you got 2022, the last time we had, I'm looking at it right now. This is last year. So this is when reverse repo went to almost zero. And now you get this huge spike. Why? Very interesting. What is happening? So something's going on in the stock market, guys. BAM's model, I'll tell you, if you're a member, you know this. I can't share numbers because that's unfair to his model. But I can tell you, and he shared this on the live, so I know he's okay with me sharing it. His model shows severe downturns in the stock market over the next few months, like severe crash level downs. Now, his model's not 100% correct. Nobody is. But his model's as correct and accurate as anything I've ever seen. And it doesn't always get the timing right, but his stuff usually hits. We've been talking about this for a very long time, 2.5 years now. And the conditions are still there. The conditions really haven't changed much. But what has changed is that things for Main Street are in a better position with Trump in charge. Deregulation means faster recovery. Trump's tariffs and bringing manufacturing back means faster recovery. The big, beautiful bill being passed so taxes stay low. Faster recovery. Better recovery. I think this has been held off. I don't know how. I don't know why. But it's very interesting that Trump's been calling for the interest rate cuts. And interest rate cuts usually happen right before a market crashes. So is Trump finally trying to get the Band-Aid pulled off? I don't know. There's a lot of talk that under the pressure, July we'll see a big cut, maybe 50 BPS, and we might be off to the races, which means this market's going to get cleaned up from getting crushed, which also means it'll be an opportunity for Trump to make major reforms in the stock market very easily in a circumstance like that. It also means our short squeeze stocks have a much better chance to explode. So some to watch, guys. This could be closer than you think. Remember, when you can see the signs on this for years before it happens. Remember the Big Short? The Big Short, they saw the signs 3 to 4 years before it happened, and they waited, and they couldn't believe how long it took. And they waited, and they waited, and finally it broke. That's us right now. We've been waiting and waiting, and I think it's finally going to break. So prepare yourself. Just be ready because it could happen any moment. You could wake up tomorrow. It could happen. Stephen Cromer asks, when is Ham coming back? I'd love to have Ham back soon. My schedule just has not worked out with Hills, but I love Ham. And I'll just be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot of reporting to do on Finger and G-Bucks lately. So, but when things start moving up again, I'll start reaching out to get them back on. Ham and I are friends. We message each other fairly regularly. I get along with Ham great. There's nothing going on between me and Ham. It just hasn't seemed like the best fit for my show right now. Butters asked, does BAM's downward projection include DJT, Finger, G-Bucks, and similar stocks? His downward projection is just predicting that the indexes go down. I can tell you on all of those stocks you just named, his model does show upturns in the next few months. Not necessarily quick, but eventually. Although he does see some bullishness in DJT soon. Tokram says Ham was calling people out today. Ooh, really? That's interesting. I have to listen to that. Alan says, took the summer off with stock market sell in May and go away. See you in September. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And that might be the right move. I would say just do it with one eye open because things could shift very quickly in this environment. I'm showing you right now, liquidity is gone, which means things could get volatile very quick. It's just something to watch for. That's all. Alan, you only watch my lives? Oh, it hurts my feelings, man. The other videos are good too, bro. You do you, man. Alan, you do you. All right, I wanted to end on something tonight. Just after talking, RFK did an amazing interview with Tucker Carlson today. And I can't even talk about most of it here because a lot of it has to do with mushrooms, which YouTube hates. So I'm not going to go into that because they'll demonetize my video faster than you can say YouTube. But RFK did have this last clip, and I want to share this as the last thing I share tonight because, a lot of people, I've done my research on Trump like crazy since he first came down in 2015, the escalator. And you know, today a lot of people are calling me a shill for Trump, or sheep, or blah, 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 because I support him so thoroughly. Well, the reason is that when you do your research on Trump, you find out that not only is he the leader we all love because he's getting stuff done, but he's also an incredible man of integrity and character that people just love when they're around him. And so it's just so funny to me when people just think like, well, he's a narcissist or a dick, but I'll vote for him. No, it's not true. And I wanted to share this because RFK was one of the most anti-Trump people there were. And in getting to know Trump, the last few months, he's really come to love him. And he shared this on the show about Trump's character. And I thought it was something that everybody who supports Trump, everybody in MAGA, every conservative, everybody who's even on the fence should listen to. Because it's just important to know who this man really is. So I'm going to play this, and then I'll address any last issues, questions, anything to end the show. But listen to this. It's really, really good stuff.
He's a genuine populist.
I mean, wow, that's some impressive words
President Trump
from RFK there. I mean, one of the most empathetic men he's ever known, a genuine populist. I did think it was interesting. He said he knows where all the people made their money on Wall Street. I thought that was a little interesting that he threw that in there. Before we finish tonight, guys, I have a couple. I'm going to get to your comments in just a second, but this is actually very interesting. We have some breaking news here. Breaking news. Trump has hit back at Elon. Says implies Doge. He might use Doge, Elon's own tool, to go after Elon's subsidies. Says Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president, I was strongly against the EV mandate. It's ridiculous. I was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidies than any human being in history by far. And without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production. Our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. Whew! Man. Things are spicy, and I love it. It's never a dull moment, guys. I'm telling you, politics is the best theater right now. Rum Dog wants everybody to know, and I'm glad you said this, Rum Dog. Everybody, Ham is trying to track down everybody who has shares at Fidelity. So if you have shares of G-Bucks at Fidelity, hit Ham up on a DM if you can. If you can't get him on DM because he's got closed off, you can send it to me on X and I'll forward it. All right. So thank you for reminding us of that, Rum Dog. Mad Max says Trump's tariffs have brought in several $100 billion already with no inflation. Exactly right. There might be a bump in inflation in the next couple of months, but so far nothing. And it will end quickly because it'll be a one-time bump. That's it. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. We have 155 people watching and only 81 likes, so I know we can do better. Please hit that like, guys, before you leave. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, on that note, it's time to end. Got to head out. Let's say a prayer, though. We definitely need prayers. So much going on. Let's pray that the best version, it's going to go back to the House. Let's pray that they fight and the best version of the big, beautiful pill that is actually possible is the one that gets passed. So let's pray for that. Actually possible being the key word there, guys. And let's give thanks that we're seeing miracles every day in this America right now, and then pray for our leaders before we head out. But again, please like, share, subscribe. And if you want a free month of membership, go into the description here on YouTube and hit that join link. You'll get a free month of Patreon membership and join us on our member live this Wednesday or in the Discord immediately. So, all right, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless our country, Lord. God bless this amazing group of people here who've taken their time to spend with me, and I appreciate them, Lord, their support and just I don't take their time for granted. So I hope they got value out of the time they spent here. Bless them, Lord, and bless our country, bless our leaders, especially President Trump and his team. Give them wisdom, give them protection to get through everything they need to navigate. We pray that this big, beautiful bill, everything in it, God, there's definitely things in it that are not good. And I know it's impossible with this group of people to get a perfect bill through. But Lord, I ask that the fight would happen over the next few days to make it as good as it possibly could be and still get passed through so we can get our country on track and free Trump up to worry about other things. I pray that the markets would be fixed, Lord, in the right timing, and that all of us would get back what's been stolen from us and then some, and what's been stolen from all retail investors and then some. We pray for justice, but we thank you for what you're already doing, and we can see your work in all over our land right now. And we thank you for that in Jesus' name. God bless everybody here. Pray for Michael Anthony having his surgery, that you'd bless that. Pray for Thomas Dubois, God, that he'd find that cure for cancer, and anybody else who needs it. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love you guys. God bless you. Again, please like on the way out, and I'll see you all tomorrow.